There is one more thing in pivot table which is very useful to us, okay, and that is under the option or under the analyze, you will find that there is an item which is called as slicer, right? So what is this slicer? Okay, this slicer helps you to filter out this item, right? Note that as of now you will find that, okay, this is very geeky stuff, right? So you go here and then you filter it out, right? Many times, let's say many senior management people, they may not be that savvy or they may not want to get into this kind of stuff, right? What we want to give them is a very simple way to do the filtration, right? So what we have is this slicer is very useful to you that time. So let's see how this slicer will work. So when I click on option or analyze and then I click on insert slicer, you will find that it is asking me to include which all items. So customer ID, duration, purchase, representative. Let's say suppose I select all. It may become very much cluttered. Let's say suppose I have done it all. Let's see. I will show you how you can use this to do the slicing. Okay. So till now what we have done here, we have filtered on only these values, right? So see here 151, 121, right? Let's say suppose I clear the filter. So we have cleared the filter. Okay. Now what we want is we want to give this to our senior management and he want to know only those values which are between 1 to 30. So what he will do is he will click 1 to 30 and he gets the value. If he wants between 151 to 180 only, he will click that, he gets 151 to 180. But if he want both 1 to 30 and 151 to 180, he will press Ctrl and click here. So now both are included. Note that whichever value is included is highlighted in blue. So these are highlighted in white, they are not included. These are grayed out, less than 1, 121, 181 greater, there is no value. So these are grayed out, right? So this is a very useful tool, okay? But rather than using these values individually, okay, it's better that you use it with multiple things. As an example, along with duration, you can also use customer ID. Let's say suppose I want to see data only for customer 2. What I will do is I will click customer 2 here. So I have got all the data for customer 2. Right? Now let's say suppose you want to know how is the data for representative 1, customer 2 and this duration. What you do is you click on representative 1. So you have now got the representative 1 data only. Okay? So you may also want to know how they have performed over the period. Let's say you want to know only for December. You can click only December. So see, only December purchase is given. If you want to know for October and December, you can click both these values, right? So what we have is this slicer is a very useful tool in slicing the data, slicing or dicing the data to give you the required item, right? Because people are not that geek, so they find this slicer very useful, right? So you can also put the filter based on the purchase amount. Note that, okay, since we have not done any grouping of the purchase amount, so you find that this purchase amount are not coming in the group form, right? So you may want to get into a group form purchase amount. So that is what you can do, right? So this is your slicer, right? Now one of the best thing about the pivot tables is that they can be used to create very nice dashboard. Okay, so one dashboard we have over here. Okay, so what we have is here we have the top customers. Okay, so we have given all the customers. So you see that C004 5000 to 2876. So you can get who are your top customer, right? Then who are your top representative. Please note that this is already filtered. So what I can do is I can select all the data. So these are your top representative. So 3 representative, 3 is the best one, right? Now what we have is, okay, so these are your slicers. What I have done is I have put these as the slicers. Okay, so you can use these slicers to change all of this. That is the best part. Here when we were doing the slicer, okay, you did not get very good understanding of about the slicer because it was changing only one data table, one pivot table, right? But when we create this dashboard, what has happened is entire dashboard items, they are changing by the slicer. See here as an example, if I want to get only data for customer 1 to customer 12, you see that all the values are changing. Okay, it is not that only one chart is changing, every chart is changing. If I want for only representative 1 to 4, I can get, right? If I want duration like this, I can get, right? So what has happened is like these filters or these slicers are linked to all these charts. Now how do you create dashboard like this? Okay, note that this dashboard is created from the 4 charts that are there. So as an example, this top customer is coming from this chart. What we do is first we create a new sheet. We go to sheet 1 and we say we want to create the pivot chart. Click on the pivot chart, whatever the type of chart you want. Let's say suppose you want to make the chart like bar. So you select OK. So this is a bar chart. Let's say we want to remove the buttons. So we have made hide all. I can remove this also. You want to change this. So let's say suppose we have done all this thing in graph. We can change it. Note that this is coming to 10,000. I can change this format axis and I can make it, let's say suppose 8,000. So this is now a fine looking chart. Even if you want, you can remove this also. So what you can do is you can move this chart and make it as an object, and we have created DB1, we move it. So this is now the new chart has come. So I will paste it over here. Note that you can do various design. What I will do is I will move to sheet 2 and I will apply the same technique, make a pivot chart. Let's say we want to make a column chart this time. I can make a column chart. I will remove the field button. I will delete all these things. Let's say here we can say the values, and what I want is I want to move this to DB1 and I can say OK. So now you have, this is the DB1, this is the value. So you can put as, so what this data is, this is rep, so sales per rep. So you can put that heading. Note that this all formatting you can easily do. You can decrease the thing, you can decrease this height, all these things you can easily do. Okay. Now what we basically want is I want to bring a slicer. Okay, over here. If I want to create a slicer, how this slicer will link to this value. So what we do is, so analyze. Let's say we say insert slicer. And let's say we want to insert slicer on customer ID only. So this is the slicer on customer ID. Note that it's very difficult to go like this. So what you can do is you can make the slicer slightly different. So you have something called as slicer settings. So you see slicer settings. So you can make this slicer setting name, all those things you can easily do. Now but let's say suppose I want to make it more columns, so I can go to slicer option, I can increase the column. So see, I have increased the column to 3 columns. So now it looks better. So slicer has come to 3. Now if I select C1, C04, what you are seeing is that only there is a change in sales rep. See here, this is only changing and there is no change over here, right? So but the earlier dashboard which I had created, all the values were changing. So what is that is lacking, so that which is not changing this value. So what you do is you go to slicer tools and go to option, and you will find that there is an icon which is called as the pivot table connections. So pivot table connection, it will give you an idea about to which all pivot table this slicer is connected. See, note that as of now this slicer is not connected to pivot table 1. See, this pivot table 1 is the one which is in the sheet 1. So I will say as of now I have this. So you find that only customer 1 is there. See, you can select or you can delete, all the customers are coming. See, customer number 4, 7, now both are changing. But if you want to make this not change, what you do is you again go to slicer, option, pivot table connection, and you remove the pivot table 2. Okay, so you'll find that this slicer will not change now. It is not dependent on the slicer now. So that is the way. What I have done is, in this I have connected all the slicers. See here, this option, pivot table connection, I had connected all this. Okay. Note that because I am using the same data table, so that's why we are using the pivot table 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So you can connect one slicer to only, you can, for the entire pivot table you have one slicer, so you can, for the entire sheet you have one slicer. That is the idea. So if you see here, I have pivot table. If I change this and I make it only 1 and 4, and I go back to this sheet and I see the slicer option, see, only 1 and 4 are there. So the slicer is for one workbook. If you want to create different slicers, you have to create different workbook. That is the idea, right? But these slicer are very useful to get you an idea about the customers, about the to give a visual representation to your data, and senior management, they like it. Okay, and you also get a very good understanding about how this is done. Right? So I have not created pivot table, pivot chart for this, but you can easily create pivot chart. You can connect to the slicers, and you can see that how exciting the visualization of the data can be when you bring pivot table, pivot chart, and the slicers. Okay, right? I hope this will clear your doubts. Okay, but this is rather than learning through videos. Okay, the video will give you idea, but what best you have to do is you have to try on your own. Do this data analysis, take some any random data and do this analysis. That will be the best that you can do. Right? So thanks